What on now?
Picture.
Look at that. We've got one each.
Even dark.
Welcome to the Community Environmental Committee. It's been held here at Newton's Pavilion on Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. I am Councillor Terry Stevens and I'll be chairing this meeting. Before we start, a few housekeeping points to note for our visitor tonight. We're not expecting any fire drills, so if the fire alarm sounds, please leave as quickly as possible. The fire exits fire exit is the car park at the front of the building. The toilets are located in the foyer. Could the members please turn off your phones or put them silent? We want everyone to be able to hear and respect whoever is speaking. Also, you should be aware that the meeting is being recorded and may be recorded and streamed on our social media channels. I will now ask the members of this council and the committee to introduce themselves, starting with Councillor Ely.
Councillor Ely, a guest at this meeting.
Councillor Ron Hain, 21 Denby North.
I'm in O'Rourke, Fenny, Stratford.
Rewind next state.
Terry Stevens, myself.
Craig Scott, Manor North and Eton Leys. Nathaniel Kelly Wilson, a member of this committee and also chair of the council.
Richard Graham, Central Bletchley councillor and vice chairman of the council.
John Fairclough, deputy town clerk.
Will Allen, environment and premises manager.
First support services manager.
Thank you very much. So if we go on to the representation tonight from Fiona from the Grand Union Canal Transfer Scheme. So we'll just go through our normal procedure here to start meeting, and then we'll go on to you then, Fiona. Thank you very much. So agenda item number 1, any apologies for absence?
Yes, we've had apologies from Councillor Hussain and Brown.
Thank you. To note councillors' declarations of interest on any matters on the agenda. Take that. So it says no. We're only on item number 2. Okay, so we're on to pages 3 to 8. It's the approval of the last meeting of this committee. So we're going through pages 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is 5 pages. Any comments, or I'll take silence as acceptance. Super, thank you very much. Move on to the next item of the agenda. So, okay. So any public speaking representatives apart from Fiona tonight?
No, it's just Fiona.
Okay.
Affinity Water.
Right, okay. So we'll go on to item 5. So this is to receive a presentation from Affinity Water on the Grand Union Canal Transfer Scheme. So floor is yours, Fiona. Welcome to the council.
Lovely, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how affair you are with the scheme, so I'm just going to give a general overview and then a little bit phase 1 consultation and coming up for phase 2. So we go on to the next slide, please. Right, so key information about our scheme. The scheme is a collaboration between Severn Trent, Affinity Water and the Canal and River Trust, who are the custodians of the canal, of the Grand Union Canal. The reason for the project is not obviously, but we want to move water from the Midlands down to the southeast, where come the end of the decade, the southeast is going to be quite strapped for water resources. One of the reasons for that is that we've had to stop, we at Affinity Water have had to vastly reduce our extraction from our chalk streams. And so we've had to find alternative water sources. So this scheme has been in the pipeline for a number of years, finally coming to fruition. And although there's still a lot to do, but we are gaining some traction with it. So as you can see, we're also looking to sustain and protect the existing historic features, namely the 17th century structure, which is the Grand Union Canal. And then along with that is to also protect environments alongside it and north and south of the canal, along the new pipelines that we're going to be building. Next slide, please. Right, so the scheme overall, carry on for the next one. We've got 3 regions which we've used the terminology. So the northern one is the Minworth area, and that's where the water's coming from. There's going to be a new treatment works, an advanced treatment works in Severn Trent area in Minworth on the existing land and property. And then the water is going to be piped along to the Grand Union Canal. It's going to be put into the canal and travel down 131 kilometres down to the southern area, which is our area here down the bottom. We go on to the next one. So this is just a schematic really of, so Birmingham Water into the treatment works, advanced treatment works, which is going to be a new building, then into the canal near Atherstone, down again, out into Affinity Water, stored in a reservoir near Luton, possibly our new reservoir, which is at Chorl End. So that's what they're looking for. So the next slide just shows a general timeline, and we literally smack bang and near enough in the middle of that, where we're heading into phase 2 public consultation. We had our phase 1 consultation last year, October, November time, where we were out and about from the most northern tip of the scheme all the way down to the southern part. We've also gone, pardon me, about 2 miles either side of where the project is, just so that we can capture everybody or the communities that perhaps do use the canal or where the reservoirs are going to be, to make sure that everybody's engaged and knows exactly what's going to be going on towards the end of the decade. Yeah, we can go to the next one, please. So our first phase consultation was actually, well, quite successful, we think. It was about going out and telling the communities what we were doing. So we had to send over 14,000 postcards to local residents, advising them where we were going and what we were doing. We had a pretty good response on the emails and for the feedback from those consultations that we did have. Those are just some stats there, obviously you can have a look at those. So yes, our next consultation, as I say, is now coming up February. Again, it's going to be 6 to 7 weeks where we go along up and down the canal and the pipeline route. We can go on to the next slide, please, John. And the following one. Lovely. So this slide is very similar to the one I showed you earlier on, where this is just a little bit more detail, and that it actually gives you, I'm just going to go up to the screen. It's actually going to give you, it gives you an overview, a little bit more detail as to where we're actually going with the pipeline. And then through the canal, and on the bottom end here is going to be, the water treatment works are going to be called Galley Water because they come off Galley Road. And then it's going to be piped down along the A505 for some distance, again, also under roads as well. So one thing we're not going to be doing on the southern part, especially when we get to the A5, is we're going to be tunnelling the pipeline. So we're not going to be putting any, there won't be any road works or anything to obstruct any traffic or cause any further traffic delays. And then it's going to be pipelined about 28 kilometres to the reservoir, as I said, near Chorl End, near Luton, which is our new reservoir that was recently commissioned for Affinity Water. But from there, the water will be distributed to Affinity Water customers. So that's our the schematic of it, basically. And then, there we go. The pipeline, as I say, approximately 28 kilometres in length. It's going to be a excuse me, a steel pipeline. There are still things that they have to work on, whether, it's going to be a single pipeline or a twin pipeline in the ground. There's still a lot of other things to work on and confirm. But yeah, at least we've got a more or less general idea of where we're going, what we can tell people, and how things are going to work, basically. So yeah, the next next slide here. So the next consultation we're coming out is to tell people about our updated areas and the chosen areas that they have chosen to take. We've also submitted our environmental report, and that will be available as well when we get to consultation, currently being printed, along with all our other materials that we'll be sharing with everybody. So at the consultation, we'll also give an indicative construction plans. There'll be big posters of maps and showing a lot more closely to what we've shared on the screen here with a lot more detail. It'll also show where the new pump houses and the gravity passes and the pump bypasses will be going along the canal. So a little bit more detail there when we get to consultation. There are things that they're still working on at the moment that unfortunately can't give too much detail at this stage, but by the end of the year, or latest January, we'll have everything that we need to go to consultation with. So yeah, what we are, what we are asking when we're going out to the parish council meetings is about the communities. What can we do to enhance the environment once we come through it? You know, are there things along the canal or along the pipeline areas that we could, you know, make better, use our, as far as the social value aspect goes? How can we enhance that environment and leave it in a better situation than when we first arrived there? So yeah, if you have any ideas on that, then we would we would love to hear if there's anything specific along in your community that we could help with when we are, as I say, coming through. Construction is due to start 2029, go for about 3 to 3.5 years. So we're looking to be finished by 2033. That's north, south, and the canal bits, bypasses and things like that, and pump houses as well. So yeah, I think that should be my last slide.
That's the last one.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yep, that's it. So happy to take any questions. I mean, I can't do any engineering questions, but I'd be happy to take those back, whatever I can't answer, take them back to the team and get back to you.
Any questions from the members?
I've got one. It's more about, it's not about what you can do along the side. It was just more of a question of how does this affect dredging of the canal?
Well, it depends who you ask.
Okay.
So people, users of the canal, will tell you that it's not dredged enough. The Canal and River Trust may tell you a different story, that now in the winter months they will probably tend to do that. They have their maintenance schedule where they do dredging. But we will, as we go along with certain parts of the canal, we will do some extra dredging.
Okay.
So it'll all tie in with the Canal and River Trust program. So it shouldn't.
But does the pipeline impact future dredging?
The pipeline isn't in the canal. The pipeline's to the canal, and then the water is coming down through the canal. Okay. So there's no.
So it's just piped in, and
it's just piped in and out. Yeah. Okay. So it's and hence why we're doing advanced treatment works to make sure that the water that goes into those canals is literally better than the water in the canal at the moment. Right. Yeah, sorry.
Specific to detail, just a bit of detail in respect of how far along specifically the Grand Union Canal is it going to have any impact in this area? And it's about sort of like looking at the detail of what's going to be happening in this area, in our area.
I think literally you were just on the edge of our working area.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. In regards to sort of like infrastructure and stuff like that, how much impact is it going to have in Fenny Stratford, because it's down in Fenny Stratford?
Yeah, it comes out our last on the
so
canal.
So about having the detail in respect to how much impact it's going to have literally in Fenny Stratford, and then we can then have a broader discussion in our committee to see what you can do to help us to make it look a little bit better, or whatever the situation may be.
Yeah.
So it's about having a little bit more detail.
Okay, well that'll all come out at our consultation.
Yeah. And then I think we can then have a conversation later on and come back to you, feedback to you.
Yeah, and I mean, we'd be happy to come back to your meetings, you know, once we've had consultation. Yeah.
Sorry, so the location of the waterworks locally, it says that it's in Great Brickhill, And so we have a border with Great Brickell Parish,
Okay.
and I think it would be useful to know where that is located. And I'm not sure there is a Galley Road in Great Brickell, but there is a
Galley Lane, sorry, Galley Lane.
Yeah.
And then it goes up to the A4165, is it? That goes
4146.
4146.
So-
Okay.
So the pipeline, so clearly it's going to be piped from
Yeah.
somewhere close between the locks at Stoke Hammond or Salisbury and the A4146, and then it's going to go some way
Private
round the
land.
A4146, and there's also sort of land on Galley Lane that has been nominated in the local plan for Milton Keynes, which is Levante Gates, which is also on Galley Lane.
Yeah.
How will that kind of interact with?
Okay, so the pipeline is going across private land, farming land, near the top of Galley Lane, across and then down alongside the road. So yeah, and there is already, I know, talk about sustainability and B&G going on the land right next to where we're going to go. So we kind of east of the 4146, east of the 4146. So it's not going to be on that side of it. And as I say, it's across private land who we are, in talks with the landowners at the moment.
I also I've lived in Luton, and I know what before I moved here I lived there, and I know what problems there are with water, and so I think this seems like a really innovative scheme to help people and to protect people for the future. What I'd be really interested to hear though is, essentially it's a private business that is using a public network to transfer water to another private water business, and I'd really love to know, and you might not have the answer now, what is the social value that our local community gets as a result of assisting to be part of that.
Yeah.
So I think it would be good to see how that impacts communities.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. I'll take that away and come back with some ideas and things like that. So, so yeah, it is. Unfortunately, affinity water customers, yes, they're benefiting from the scheme, but they're not being inconvenienced by it. Everybody else is. So yeah, you are right. There is some social value that we do need to put back into those communities that we are passing through or passing nearby with the project. And yes, it is definitely something that we are looking into, and we'll definitely come back to you on that one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I've got a couple of softer issues, but I think they'll come out in the second consultation, is around the environmental impact.
Yes, yeah.
So local biodiversity, canal habitats,
Yeah.
green spaces, and also community disruption, things like traffic, obviously going down to the pipe work,
Yeah.
and even impacts on the walking routes.
Yeah.
Along the canal. I think probably, social value is, one thing would be the paths.
Absolutely.
The towpaths can be a bit
Yeah,
challenging.
absolutely. That we are definitely looking at those.
Yeah.
And as I say, trying to enhance them, and will be coming into our plans for that. So yeah, environmental impact is a huge thing. We won't get planning for the project if we don't have those environmental assessments submitted and looked into quite deeply. So yeah, it is top of the agenda.
Seems like a really good programme.
It is. I mean, one of our straplines is we're using 17th century infrastructure to solve a 21st century problem. It's just amazing that we could, and why haven't we done it before? But one of those things. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting for us.
This might help. Eamon,
It'd probably have an effect on violence disease as well. So
would be better. Yeah. All in the canal again. Thank you, Fiona. You're more than welcome to take the rest of the council meeting if you choose, but
Don't think me rude if I don't.
Feel free to go.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you again for having us, and
Thanks, Fiona.
we'd be more than happy to come back. So yeah.
Thank you.
Fisherman warming up maggots in his mouth.
I've had it.
Read it.
Yeah, nearly gone.
Has he got
I
it?
finished it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, deadly.
Let's see.
But if you're not moving more, it's going to go away, isn't it?
Right, okay, shall we move on to item number 6? So this is to consider 2026-27 partnership agreement proposals and request for budget approval. Think about this as well in terms of the for the overall budget for next year as well. So anything we discuss now, it's going to impact the budget next year. So the first one is 611. Starts on page 23 of your pack. So this is the proposed partnership with the Watery and Larder. So so currently the Watery and Larder, it's £15,000 per year. The request is £15,000 a year for a 3-year agreement. Currently we're funding Larder at £13,000 per year, which we have been doing for the previous 3 years, isn't it? We all know the community how we had Catherine here to the presentation, we deferred this. The question we're asking here is, so they're looking for an additional £2,000, which is a breakdown between staffing costs and discretionary membership and general expenditure. What's everybody's thoughts around the table in terms of that request?
From memory, didn't we have some further questions from this around ascertaining how much of the local community use it? That was one of the questions that came out.
The numbers have been very, so it's actually in the report. Yeah,
It's in the report, sorry.
Yeah, the numbers, the people, the members actually remain very stable, but they also have a number of pay-as-you-go members, which is up to about 230. So they are, they do a very, very, very good service to the community. They're more than just they offer that social connection, the cafe, the volunteer experience opportunities, and they have 20 to 25 volunteers who've been looking after it since COVID. So it's been running since COVID. So what we're going to think about here is the risk of dependency. So there's a long-term reliance on the council funding. So there may be we may reduce more incentives for them to diversify their income streams.
Can I give an update as well?
Yeah, oh, sorry.
Just so you know, they have recently just got a grant from Community Foundation of £8,000 as well. So they are seeking places elsewhere to get funding from. But I know they've just had an update where they've £8,000 bid approved.
Okay, so that's got an impact, and also we have to think about the inflationary uplifts, the cost of living, securing food, etc. So I think we've got 3 options here. I think
I understand they want an uplift, and everybody's going to want an uplift from this council. But we've got to make sure that we're not putting more money on our shoulders, because whatever we do as a council, we have to always remember that's going to be reflected in the budget, and that could be reflected in the precept. And so sometimes it's quite good to stay stable as a council and allow other people to sort of like seek other avenues for income, rather than us straight away thinking of uplifting every year. Because it's one thing being a council that's got some money, but our reserves are going to go down, if you know what I mean. So I feel like, from my personal point of view, that we stay stable, offer them the same amount of money, but on a 1-year deal, and then review it next year, once we sort our budget out, once we sort our financial situation out, once we know where and what direction the council's going in.
Mm-hmm. I think you can probably see there that they've now diversified their income, which is a really good positive step. In £8,000. Any other comments from any other members on this one?
Did you want to give your 3 options?
Options were: 1, we remain as it is for 3 years; 2 would be the single year remaining as it is; and the 3rd will be you do the uplift. So I think from Richard's thoughts is actually we should just remain as it is.
Can I make that
Rolling for the year.
Can I make that proposal?
I'll second
Can I
that.
make that proposal?
Can I also just add something which you may want to take into consideration, Richard? So I'm concerned that the council and the taxpayer for a number of grants does not get the credit that it actually should do. And, you know, I see the kind of document that they provided. Don't see the logo and our logo on it, and I don't see in other adverts, you know, that we've done it, and I think that that concerns me.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether we should, you know, going forward with, you know, particularly like this one, whether actually we should make staged payments rather than one payment in one go, and actually not make future payments if actually when we don't see our logo on things, because I think it's the taxpayers' money, it's the precept that's paid for it. We all think it's important, but I think it's important that it's recognised that it's come from taxpayers.
That's a really fair point. Maybe we, in the partnership agreement, we can put a bit about that, acknowledging branding, you know, in public.
I thought it was actually there already.
It was in the last one. It was, yeah. It's been in previous ones. So I think enforcing it is.
I'm quite happy for any amendments to that fact. I quite agree with Ethan.
So we've got Richard's proposal, which is the sort of rolling annual review in our budget for the Larder, and the inclusion of people actually we need to be more visible in their marketing material, their communication, stage payments. Seconder, Craig. All those in favour? Those against? It's a majority. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next one is the Wellbeing Services 6.1. Okay, so this is the counselling services. So the request here is to increase to 25 clients at a cost of £8,750, so it's an extra £2,450 per quarter. So, so the background of this one here, which we well know, just a reminder. So the West Bletchley Wellbeing Council Services has requested an uplift in funding provision of the current 18 clients per quarter to 25 clients per quarter. So this is so this would increase the annual cost from 25,200 to 35,000, which is a fair uplift. Service provides 8 counselling sessions per client, addressing issues such as anxiety, depression, bereavement, trauma, etc. Demand is currently exceeding the contracted capacity, with 57 referrals in the first half of 25 alone. So the services had a steady increase since we've been providing funding, around £5,000 per year. And it reflects a growing demand in this area. If you think about why though, so we've actually, the funding has risen nearly 40% in the previous 3 years. So it's a significant commitment in our budget. So that's something we need to consider. But in terms of the feedback we've got, so we've had a lot of really good feedback in terms of how it's helped the clients. We've also got to think about in the budget, so the free swims have scaled back a bit, so we're sort of minus 26% on the free swims, and of course the community larder, which we just discussed. So there's no uplift on that, so consider it. Accessibility service now includes younger residents, 16, 17-year-olds, so it's widening the reach of these vulnerable groups. It's not just sort of adults, it's for young adults as well, which is really good. Majority of referrals are MK2 postcodes, and it's ensuring a direct benefit for Bletchley and Fenny Stratford residents. So, you know, the results have been early intervention, may reduce reliance on costly statutory services. So in terms of our risks and our considerations, it's obviously our budget uplift, significant. Even if we expand provision, it may still continue to outstrip the capacity, raising concerns about the waiting lists. There's more of a heavy dependency on this council to support, so it raises questions about long-term sustainability if external funding isn't secured. And it's, you're at risk of becoming a shadow NHS provider if costs keep going up and we have to pay that out of our budget. However, on the upside, it's targeted, preventive and interventions to protect residents. So the request is, we've got again, I think we've got some options here. We've got a full uplift of 35k per annum, which provides those additional clients and those consultations. We can do a partial uplift, which is a medium ground, which will get up to about 22, or we maintain the current funding at 25,200 per annum. So what does our Craig?
Do we know how much West Bletchley Council contributes?
So what they do, as far as I'm aware, is in the house they're in, where the building that is owned by West Bletchley Council, and they get that for rent free. So they get the venue where they do their work from. I'm not sure how much that equates to, but it's probably work it out.
But and okay, yeah, not much. Do we know the split between clients from West
I don't
Bletchley?
know how many referrals I can get it, I can find out, but I don't know how many referrals they compared to us getting 25. Well, at the moment 25 per quarter. I'm not sure how many they do.
Yeah, I've asked that question before, to be fair, haven't we? Last time.
Can we give them this in West Bletchley?
I've always, when this comes down to counselling, always sort of like had a little bit of a, not a beef with it, but I've always wanted more information. Because if they're asking our council to continue to do the uplift, because demand is going to be demand no matter whether we're here or not. People in their mental health problems is going to increase. What is Milton Keynes Council doing to provide mental health support in Milton Keynes as a whole? That's number one. If they're cutting back services because they've got to save money, does it fall back down to town and parish councils to provide that service? Next question is, are we a counselling service? Is this council a counselling service? No, it's not. Yes, we can provide some services in the community, but for me, if like any event or whatever this is, or anybody coming for a grant, is it going to be sustainable? Are they going to find funding from somewhere else? We can help to start off with, but is it going to be self-funding? People are going to always want more and more and more and more. It's going to impact on the preceptors. I'll go back to that, and I will always go back to that in this committee, because we've got to be sure that we're getting value for money. That's number one. Two, is it helping people in Bletchley, Fenny, Stratford? If we've not got that information, Chair, if we've not got that information, how can we make an informed decision?
I think
The said council's asked for it. We've asked for it before. We should have that before we can make any decision on that. And literally, are we paying for that service and for West Bletchley as well?
We're already paying for our residents.
Our
residents, yeah. So we're not paying for anything West Bletchley. If you need to know how many referrals they do to make your decision, I can get that. But these are for our residents. That we're paying for.
This is only for our residents.
We pay the referrals. We are just Bletchley, Fenny, Stratford. We won't be paying for other residents to have counselling services.
yeah, 25.
I know things are confidential in respect of, but how many people are we from our area? Is that detailed?
25 per quarter. Yeah.
25 people. And
Per
then,
quarter,
and then 25 people are going to want, like I said before about counselling services, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions, how do we know that you don't need more sessions to help you with your problem?
But that's why I say early intervention is the key.
Yes, but we're not a counselling service. We don't know.
I know that.
If it was me and I needed an extra 5 sessions, and you've given me 8 sessions, but I need an extra 5 sessions to help me.
They don't get.
They don't get.
That's the harsh reality of it. They don't
So the harsh reality.
They have 8 sessions and that's it.
But that's it. I mean,
there might be more. There
who's
might be
going
less.
to know how much sessions they're going to need? This is what I'm trying to say. We don't know.
I think the idea is that they over the course of the 8 sessions, they either signpost to other services or they build resilience with the individual so that they no longer need it, but they don't get extra sessions after the 8. I think for me, I think that this is really important, and it's not there's clearly a need because it's not being provided elsewhere. I do hear what you're saying around, you know, we're like becoming the funder of last resort because the NHS is not providing it or whatever.
We're not going to be able to do that.
But I do believe that you know, we do want to provide services to our residents that are valued. For me, so I just divided it. It works out. So it's 35,000 divided by 100 divided by 8. It works out at £43.75 a session, which I think is the kind of going rate for it. You know, is for me, is there a middle ground where we don't commit to 35, but we perhaps go to 30 instead?
Yeah, no, by 21 to 22 clients.
Yeah, and actually just say this is actually all that we do. I think having looked at the case studies of the 3 individuals that they've provided, you can see that this is actually having an impact.
Yeah.
I have been in a situation where you know, after my mother died, I needed counselling, and it was actually very difficult to access. And in the end, my employer arranged for me to have it. There clearly is a need.
We've got a massive, I'm not saying that we're not going to supply counselling service, yeah, but we can't be the council that's only the uplift every year. There's an uplift. It will impact on our precept. But yes, we can provide services, not a problem.
But difficult, we've got.
Or could we not propose that we do the minimum to start off with, and then if they need money throughout the year and we've got it in our budget, we do what we did with the same.
I don't agree with that. I think we need to set our stall out.
I think
We
we
need
should
to vote
provide
on
the
something, don't
service myself. I think we should provide the service because the NHS isn't working. And if it was working, then there would be consultants there to look at. My friend's a consultant and does all stuff like that. And he's had his contract withdrawn and he's a private person, you know, he does it privately. But I think it's a necessity if the government aren't going to fund it, and we have to fund it through taxpayers to do that. So I think we should provide the service. I'd rather provide that service than provide free swimming, to be honest with you, because that is more important than going for a swim. If somebody wants to hurt themselves or they need it for bereavement or whatever they need it for, I think it's very vital that we do provide that service.
Perhaps the pairs there, really, but.
Yeah, but I mean in general, you know.
Chair, as you know, I'm not on this committee, but it's just a reminder that recently, there was a recent increase in the allocation, this one, and we were given information then, when it went through council, I think, that the number of sessions that were given, I think you mentioned 8, I think that was sufficient to meet the vast majority of demand of the people that went through the system. But the second point, I think, is that the question of last resort. I mean, there are so many organisations these days that want money. NHS, what's their budget? 200 billion, I don't know, and ours is not that much. But at what stage do we say it's someone else's job?
Yeah.
The police want more money. The fire brigade wants more money. The NHS, do we start funding them all? I don't think we can. I don't think we should. Taking Sam's point, I think this is a vital service. I really do. And I, if it comes to council, I would support it. The increase, particularly in view that not only have you asked for an increase, but you found in environment terms a reduction elsewhere within your budget. And I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, it's balanced with swimming as well. Do we have a proposal? So we've got a proposal on Ethan, which is the partial uplift to 30k per annum.
It wasn't a formal proposal, Chair, it was just part of debate.
Okay.
Okay, is anyone putting a
Is there a
proposal?
proposal?
I put proposal, what
Okay.
you said.
Your
Partial
proposal
partial uplift to
is the mid
30,000.
round for the expansion while limiting financial exposure.
So 30,000.
Seconder on that one?
I'll second that.
Do we have any, those for that proposal? You got majority there, John?
So 30,000
Yep.
in the budget,
Yeah.
and whatever that equates to, the referrals, based on what, okay, fine,
Yeah.
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 Super. Thank you very much. Good debate then. Okay, let's move on to the budget. Got the key for us tonight to keep an eye on us. Right, so we are to review the draft budget allocations for financial year 26-27 that fall in the remit of this committee. So see on pages 33. I sent something out on Sunday, looked at exceptions, which I neglected to tell you, we're only sort of month 9, aren't we?
Seven, eight, month
8 out of 12, so we've still got obviously invoices to come in, what services to provide. So
We knew that, Terry, but we liked your eagerness.
I know, but
There was still bits.
I'm just trying to make it a bit more easy to
Still wouldn't
read.
pop people from.
It's not a budget problem, I'm just trying to make it easy to read. Okay, so we go through our any exceptions in terms of, so community grants. We've had a very low uptake on this. I.e. we spent £822, I think more than 200 tonight, so it's up to £1,000.
We've got some more coming that could spend that before there's more
Okay.
grants coming, so.
I was going to say, I think that the, isn't that also the comment that Keith said earlier, that we have become a funder of last resort for people, and people would come to us with massive requests for money, which we agreed to. And actually, I think we maybe want in the future want to be part of the funding mix, but not funding everything. And I think that the change in our community grants has meant that we've not received these applications. But what we have seen is really small groups going, actually, we're doing something already. Can you give us a handout so we could actually do this? And I don't know what adds more to our community. I personally think it's like helping out local groups.
Yes.
Is what, you know, the taxes from local people. I think we should be supporting
Back into
those
the
groups.
Yeah.
Can I say something off the back of that, which is really good? But what I would like to see is feedback from these smaller groups in respect of what we're paying for and then the outcomes of that. We've got to be able to justify every penny and why it's gone there. So feedback from some of these groups would be absolutely fantastic for the officers to find out, to bring back to community and grants. At least we can have an update on what's happening, when it's happening and how it's happening.
Yeah. No,
That I don't mind as long
we
as
do
we're
ask for
getting
that.
that.
We do
Yeah,
get
we get some, yeah, and obviously in the annual report, we put them in as well, but,
Yeah, we do get some.
we do more, I think, I do think we need
Some
to
of the
do more.
smaller groups, for some of the smaller grants.
Yeah, the most recent ones, we'll get them end of grant reports as well, that we can share pictures and things like that, and then,
So in terms of, just the time, grants stay the same. Community line, we've been through that, so that's 13k, so we'll do a rolling review of that. Fenny and Poppers, so there was no event delivered this year, and intention that this will not return. So
Say that again?
it will not return, this event, in terms of the reasons are the lack of volunteers that they haven't got. So we have to just, our budget is 6,300, obviously we haven't spent any on that. It's a well recognised festival in Fenny, Stratford, isn't it? Yeah, well attended. It was starting to get a bit
Same old,
same old, and it did attract,
People walk down from West Bletchley to go to it with a little.
yeah, but it also gives the businesses the opportunity to sell their trade
Yeah.
to the the people who come, who arrive. It's how you know, personally, I think tradition's great. Having these sort of unique traditions in towns and villages is so important to keep. However, you know, we've still got resourcing challenges of our own. You know, we've got officers we've got a full events calendar. And maybe it should be more where we can press for more volunteers in the communities to help us, as opposed to we take it over, we run it, people enjoy it.
I don't want to do that.
So we've got to really try and.
We started
But I
with
know you
supplying the toilets.
probably you want us to take that over, doing Fenny Poppers, that's what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to say that. it
But
needs to be
have we got
wider
the
than it is.
resources to do that, and have our employees got the time to do that?
This is it.
Because it's a
We've
big
got resource
thing to
challenges. I'm
take
just saying,
over,
we need
even
to-
though we're doing 2 main events a year, or how many events we're
We
doing.
need to
now.
look at the volunteer base.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
mean. And it is a lot to take over. Not everybody volunteers.
No.
We might need to bring volunteers in.
Ron,
So don't forget, we're starting a new thing this year, that won't be a year. So we don't want to add something else on the back of it.
but we're funding this already then.
Yeah, we're funding this already, but then we've got to put extra work in. And it's going to, we're only funding part of it.
No, we're only funding a tiny weeny part of
It's a
it.
massive amount
It
of
is a
money.
massive amount of money.
We
And
didn't do the band and all that.
It's about 20 odd grand.
Oh, not doing the toilets, really.
So Chair, regards to, I mean, my thoughts on Fenny Poppers is that if we as a council are thinking that we may look at, it's up for discussion, but not now, but
Not
think
now,
about
but
doing
budget.
something. But if you think about doing something in Fenny Stratford, let's start from scratch. Let's have a look at it and see what the
What do you
situation
need
is.
to know for the budget? Do you need to know if we need to keep it?
Can I finish? We have a look at
It's gonna
it.
be here all night.
Richard,
Can we look at it fresh? Because it's not coming back. Let's leave it for another meeting and talk about that specifically. And then look at it afresh and see what Fenny Stratford needs, what the council's going to be doing and what our ethos is going to be for Fenny Stratford, and look at a completely different event.
Yeah.
And incorporate what we need to incorporate. But that's a conversation for another time.
okay.
But what Terry needs to know is, do we need to put this aside in the budget or not? That's what we need an answer
I
tonight.
propose we take it out for this year.
You take it out, you can get it back in again.
Eh?
You know, if you take it out, you can't get it back in
No,
again.
that's-
Sorry, can I ask you, if we was to take this out of the budget and put it back in reserves, could we ask for it again?
No, you can ask for it in the budget next year.
Pardon?
You can ask for it in the budget next year, but how much is it this year?
There's not, well, we spent
We have, it was an underspend, isn't it?
17,000 quid was in the budget this year.
Yes, but it's an
You
underspend.
can't get, they can't just find that 17,000.
No, we've not used it this year.
That's it.
We haven't funded it. I'm trying to understand. We haven't used the budget this year. We're talking about taking it back out and putting it back in reserves. If we needed it for another event, could it be ring fenced?
No.
Why not?
We don't ring fence reserves.
Pardon?
We don't ring fence reserves. We've got a rolling, even a rolling capital programme is not ring fenced these days. We used to, if you remember,
We used to, yeah.
but we don't anymore. Do you remember that financial report we had, that big
Yeah.
report? That was the recommendation from that report, and we've adhered to it ever since.
So can we just leave it in the budget for future?
Well, the Labour government have got big black holes, so have we. It's called reserves.
What I'm trying to say, Chair, is if we're not using the budget this year, do we leave it in community and grants for next year?
Event.
For a different event, just leave it there.
Can we just name it future event?
For a future event.
So we keep the money.
Yeah, come on.
What's that?
Remember, you're not here,
What's that?
Hugh. Remember, you're not here.
I'm answering Sue's question here.
I think that we have to decide whether we want an event in Fenny Stratford or
Yeah.
not. We are, if we add it to the budget, we are adding to the precept and we are taking tax from people. I personally, so I'd say 2 things about this event. It's very much valued by the owners of the businesses that are in Fenny Stratford. However, I do think it is Personally, my thought is it's more of a drinking festival than it is kind of anything else. And so I do think that if councillors want to have an event that supports the businesses in Fenny Stratford, which does bring them in, and they all loved it. You know, I used to go and talk to them, and they really enjoy the day, and it brings people who might not have been to their restaurant or whatever before. It introduces new customers to them. So, and it's a difficult time, and we should decide. I think we need to decide what we really want to do and why we're doing it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if we're not going to do anything, then we shouldn't budget for it.
Well, we've not decided whether we're going to do something or not, have we? Because now we're hearing that Fenny Pop is not coming back. It's for us to decide, are we going to do something in Fenny Stratford? That's what I said.
Notice, I think.
Two, we've got to decide whether we're going to get more volunteers to help Bletchley, Fenny Stratford, and or even getting some support from businesses. We're doing this all the time for businesses, for people, for community. Why aren't the businesses helping us in respect of giving us a few sponsorship money or whatever the situation may be? We always use the public's money 24/7 to help the public and businesses, but the businesses are not helping us. And that's something that we've got to have a chat about.
Ron?
Yeah, because don't forget, the amount we give is only a small amount. The price that it costs all round is a lot of money. They charge a load of money for the stalls.
We're not saying we're such a big event like that.
No.
We'll need something to recognise Aylesbury Street and Fenny Stratford.
But as I was saying, we're starting that Lunar one, and then we've got the staff doing this. So if we do the Lunar one next year and say, if they ask about it, say, sorry, they pulled out and we don't know what we can do, what we're going to do. And we can think over the year, what can we do and what can we get in, see what the shops want to bring in, and see if we can get something. But for this stage, I would say leave it out of the budget totally for this year. Then we can say to people, sorry, we haven't budgeted for it because we didn't know what they're doing.
I think it's important that we keep something in to recognise Fenny Stratford, even if we commit to spending that on something small for Fenny Stratford for this side. I think it's important to keep something in, even if it's small, because the problem is if we take it out of the budget, next year, we're not requesting an increase in budget, we're requesting a whole new event, which is very different from saying we run a really small £6,300 event and now we want 10. That's a very different conversation to saying we had nothing and we wanted 10.
But
it's an increase.
You can't, you get nothing. Pennies.
But that's before you talk to businesses for sponsorship.
You've got to pick up where they got the trainer from the A and all that business.
But we're not saying we're going to run the same event.
No, I was about to say perhaps it should be more musical, because that's where the main crowd is, down by the stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
It thins out a bit as it gets to the budget.
Marie?
Can I propose that we keep it in the budget and make a decision on what kind of event we do in the new year? That's my proposal.
To keep what in the budget, 6,000 to do an event. We don't know when or where or.
It doesn't have to be an event, it can just be something that helps the community in Fenny Stratford.
Surely we get the contacts of the polling and that. It's not going to start with a blank sheet of paper.
No, but we'd have to scale it down, obviously.
We need to know if the actual employees can do it as well, if they've got the time.
Well, that's what I mean, it depends on when it happens, because obviously Big Street is 2 weeks before.
That's what I mean. If they can't do it, then we don't do it. Simple as that. If we can't do it, we can't do it.
We've got a seconder. Marie's proposed, Craig. All those in favour of keeping.
What's the proposal?
The proposal
Just to keep it in the budget.
In the budget. At this point, we don't know what the size, the purpose, what we want to reflect Fenny Stratford, something. All those in favour of that remaining in the budget? All those against?
We have to ask the employees first, see if they can do it.
We're
If they
doing
can't
vote.
do it,
We're
then we
doing-
don't
we're doing
do
a
it.
vote. All those against? All those that, what's the word?
Abstain.
Abstain. Lot of, so what was that, John?
Carried. Who was for again? Yes, carried.
Everyone accepted.
Thank you very much. It was a good debate again. We've got a budget line now.
Yeah, I've added it
One
back
of
in.
them. Thank you very much, Keith.
Are you doing this real time, are you?
Okay, now for
Let's
us,
do it tomorrow.
so we provided, the grant for the electrification void at Fenny Stratford, didn't we? I believe last year. We did have a rolling budget on that one. Have we got anything else on that one, John?
There's nothing in the budget, it's for maintenance of the bollard in up reserve, so there's nothing actually in the budget for.
And how much does that bollard cost to get maintained?
Will, remember how much you have to maintain the bollard? What's the new mark reserve? We can find it out, but I don't know.
Can we find out about that? Because you've got £1,000 in the budget, we've actually spent 4.8. But we know that we had that.
So that's in the earmark reserve, so that's just for if we need it to maintain that bollard. There's nothing in the budget. We'll look out to us this year.
Can you feed that back to Keith? How's that? Electric point for service.
I'm just going to add, and Keith, I apologise that I am going to say something that you are going to find very annoying.
That's not hard.
So I know that Councillor Ely does not, probably thinks that we shouldn't fund any dog waste bins.
Right, right.
I'm going to propose. So we're on the last bit of Newton Lees, and basically the area from the Redway.
Have we got to this bit yet?
No, we're not.
We're still on the budget, the draft budget.
Yeah,
allocation.
we're on youth and wellbeing, but I think.
Oh, sorry, I'll wind it back.
I don't
You
know
know it's
coming.
Keith, Charles,
Now, so we're gonna get some figures back to Keith in terms of how much that can cost to maintain and keep in service that electrical point for Fenny Stratford, yeah?
Yeah, right, yeah, I've got a meeting tomorrow
I
afternoon.
don't know where we are.
Finalise the budget.
Right. Can we get that?
Can we get that, Will?
Youth and wellbeing,
Yeah, we'll talk to them about that.
so youth and wellbeing, so we've got a budget of 11,550. The actual we spent at 97. So there's an uplift of 18,000. This is for the youth. I believe it's for the.
Yeah, this was to do some, because at the moment, MK Play Association, we couldn't do much this year with the Play Association because it's expensive and you've only got a few. And then we did the football, which is, about £5,000 to £6,000. So we want to do more youth stuff during the holiday. That was the thought process around that.
Next month, we can go to be able to-
Yeah, so we could have, so it went really quick this year, sort of saying, the 8,000 felt quite minimal for what we could do. MK Play Association they're about £500 a session, so we could only do so many.
Yeah.
And it went,
For both age groups.
yes, so there's more, I think there's more we can do. We want to do a bit more research and more what we can do. We've done a survey recently about the youth work and there's a demand for it. We know there's lots of young families in the area as well, so I think.
What I always want to see from the youth and senior youth side of things is a bit of a report on what activities they do and whether that is fit for purpose for the youth of today. That's, it's nice to put on the youth services. We've been doing it for years. It's something that we are always going to do and maintain because we've got a lot of youth in the area. But what activities are they putting on? How many people are attending it? Is it fit for purpose for the youth of today? That's what I want to see whether we're going to then give an uplift because there's a cry for more sort of services from us. Them just saying that they want an uplift, and for what reason?
They're not saying that we're saying we can do more. It might not be with MK Play Association, it could be elsewhere. And
we can always do more, but we need to identify what areas we're going to be doing it. If we don't do that as a council or as a committee, we're not going to know what we're putting the money to.
Yeah.
That's what it has done a feedback from, isn't it?
Yeah, so the report on the last meeting, which you saw, was about what people wanted in the area, which we can share that again if you want to.
But again, that's what's got to come to this committee, and then we can then decide which area we're going to put the money into, what resources we're going to put into that, and that's, or is that another thing for full council? Or the recommendations got to come from this committee?
Recommends.
Yes, for that budget line.
But that's what I'm talking.
Yeah. It does seem like a significant increase though. It's gone up from 11 to 18.
Just want to see what impact it's having on the youth.
Was it high before though, and we dropped it?
Yeah, it dropped to
It was a lot
11.
more
It
than
was,
that,
it was
wasn't it?
about that originally, dropped to 11. You can't, you can keep it at that, but you can't do as much. You won't be able to do as many sessions with people. Like the MK Play Association, you did, I think it was 1 a week in each location. And the football was like 1 hour a week on a Friday.
Yeah.
It felt very minimal, but again, it's up to you what you want to do.
But that's what I'm saying, you know, if we're doing 1 a week, is that enough? How many people attend? Can we do 2 a week? Can they deal with that? Do you know what I mean? So, you know.
The increase to 18,000 has been built in to our budget prediction so far.
Right, okay.
So it's not an embarrassment to the budget to put it to 18,000.
Oh, thank you.
Any other?
I was just going to say, Chair, I think that I'm not sure that the current youth services that we provide are what the local community want. And it feels like a lot of the budget goes into giving people who attend a tea, and they might actually need that. But I'm kind of really worried about what is the are we supposed, you know, for me, I think that we would be wanting youth to be involved in something that is going to actually prevent them from doing other stuff, and I think getting involved in crime or gangs or whatever. I think that we've talked about having a youth council, and I think that it would be quite interesting for the youth to actually be involved in the decision making of what actually happens with that money, and I think that would be the way to go in the future.
So on that note, I propose we keep the budget as proposed 18. Whatever the amount.
18,000, that's
Yeah.
uplift from 11,500.
Would anyone like to second me? Thank you.
All those in favour? All those against? Those abstained? Thank you. The next one is the Senior Youth Club budget, 23,625. So again, you know, we're only not a substantial way through the year, but not at the end. So they've spent 6,291. If that was to extrapolate to 12 months, would that then?
That's going to fall. Yeah, I think Alison, the RFO has adjusted it slightly for next year. I think it was at 20. For next year's 20,000. So just we might be underspend slightly, but not a lot.
Okay.
But we've adjusted it for next year.
And the feedback from the Senior Youth Club?
Well, like Ethan says, I think there needs to be a review on what else is out there. It was here tonight. So that's what happened. We give impact reports which get sent around. But there potentially is, I think we should look at alternative provision that's more suitable.
Okay.
But that's the kind of cost that we'll be paying. We want to kind of do we do 2 a week at the moment.
Yeah.
So again, there's a review, which is underway, the review.
So it sounds like we should be maintaining that and then looking at what we can offer in terms of the Senior Youth Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think we should maintain that one. If there's any objections on that?
Under the current provider, when's their contract come up for renewal?
Will be the end of this financial year.
So April. So we need to be able to do a bit of work to see whether there's another provider between now and then.
Yeah, or even if, you might not need a provider, you might have different, different providers that, that's the budget, but you could do whatever you want with it, so we can come back after this review, we can come back with some ideas, and a bit of a report on, what's out there really.
We need to,
This is just kind of,
Let's maintain that. I'm worried about time. We've got quite a few items on the agenda to go. Free swims. So that is majorly underspent at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, so that's been adjusted for next year.
Okay.
Reduced.
To how much?
It's in the spreadsheet. It's in there. It is at swims.
So we had a 28,350
Bruce was 20,000, so it was 27,000.
Okay,
Due to, I think it's the current operator, if you see in the notes,
Yeah.
I think they've limited the amount of swims that are going on, so the sessions are not as many as they were, so fewer people actually have the opportunity to swim. I think that's the reason for the, you know, in us, and the underspend this year with the new operator.
okay.
That's why it's kind of been reduced based on what's happening.
Are they announcing a new operator? Is it tonight?
They are, yeah, which could be the same one
They put
as
their
it is
sort of
now.
bouncy screens up now, haven't they? We can look in from the outside.
Yeah, really good. But it could be who are going now.
So propose we keep that at 20,000 then?
Yeah.
If that's what the preliminary forecast down to,
Second that.
so that's it. Do we vote for that one? Of those, propose it stays at 20,000. Those, anyone against? Okay, John, Keith, sorry. And, council services, been through council services, so we're going to meet halfway 30 on that one. Community events. So the events are, you know, where we're mostly visible. We get out of footfall, we get some really good feedback from the community, and you know, we improve with Davina's hard work and improve them every year. So are there any comments on any of these engagements? I'm not going to go through each of them, but anybody, any thoughts on any exceptions that you think we should discuss?
Sorry, Chair, I can't see. What page are we on?
I think we've gone back a couple of pages. It's a slightly different order.
All right, I've got it.
Yeah. So we're talking next week is
The main thing.
25. Pumpkin patch is, we overspent on that one this year, but it was larger by
Page
like 400
33.
pound.
Yeah, yeah, I've got it.
Christmas event, it'll be back in Queensway next year, so we need a larger budget. We have Iftar, we have Easter, and we have, I think it's a lot of them, and Luna.
Yeah.
I like that figure, it's exceptions.
You're talking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I propose we keep them as they are.
Yeah.
Any objections to that one?
So can I just recap? Christmas event, 18,000, did you say?
Spent, so our budget is 17. But then we spent less this year because we're here, aren't we, not in Queensway.
So you're talking about the budget next year?
Next year.
So you're talking about next year's budget, yeah, 18?
18, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So we move on to, we had this at the last, the last committee about the annual report and the newsletter. So the new supplier being appointed now,
Yes,
and we so
yeah, there's 4 additions.
save some money on that, haven't we?
Yep, we've got the new one coming out in January with the new design.
Yeah.
And we are looking at a new name.
What's the neighbour?
Sorry,
The neighbour you're about?
the neighbour.
Same.
We are, well, we've got to put it out there to change the name. Design, so that'll be the new year.
Yeah.
That's it. Leaving involved.
Environmental and planning. So planting, again, we've only spent them, we've only had part of the year. Let's just look at that. And the good old dog bin empty,
Oh, there you go. That's some dogs.
18 grand.
I was going to say,
Chance.
really. Well, only 32% of the country have got dogs. You know, it's not like they have children, but children are your future, dog or not. So I think if people want to keep dogs in their house, you should up the rates. So if you keep the dog, you can get more of the rates.
Only got 2 dogs. Oh.
Yeah.
Dog can share.
Yeah, unfortunately, the local taxation act does not allow people to be charged different rates, no matter what, you all have to pay, you pay for the same thing. We do have an issue in Newton Meads that we do not have enough dog bins, particularly on this side of Newton Meads. And so I would like to request that we purchase some more, but actually I think it will be the last purchase. So I think that we need 4 or 5.
I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover it.
Before.
Actually, Chair, we have to think about our parish and how big our parish is getting and other areas that may need dog bins in the future. So if we're going to get one for Newton Lees or a couple for Newton Lees, we've got to think about Eton Lees. And we've got to think about the rest of the parish that's growing, that's going to need the demand, because where there's people, there are going to be dogs, fish, cats. Do you know what I mean? So if we're going to think about the dog bins, let's think about what size of area we're in, where the population is, and how many dog bins they're going to need. So future-proof situation.
Or do what two people done tonight, go out in the football field with a torch, let the dog run around anyway.
All right, mate, all right, yeah, I know, okay.
I'd agree with that. Eton Leeds has previously requested 2 extra bins. We kind of surveyed where we thought best, but we couldn't provide them at the time. So I'd certainly like to increase by 2 in our area.
We've also got the resources challenge, haven't we? That's
I
more
think-
services, more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
empty.
The cost is emptying, right? So
The
you've
cost
got
is
the bins are cheap,
predominantly
it's emptying.
in empty. We've got about 10 bins in stock for replacement when they get damaged, etc. But yeah, there's currently nothing in the budget for
From my understanding,
any additional
it
purchase.
was like, I think it's, well, I don't know how far I've got it, but it was about a 380 every time it's emptied, about £3.80
To empty the bin.
to empty the bin.
I think
I do think that, I don't know the kind of what the average is, but I'd actually say in Newton Lees it's definitely higher than a third of people that actually have dogs here. And we have a new path that goes from this red way and it goes up to the footpath at Newton Longville, and it is really bad. And there's also one site next to the lake that actually needs to be done as well. So I think I'd be asking for 5. If we've got 10 in stock, then that's
We've got,
okay.
yeah, it's the emptying that's the
Keeps the point.
Just to at least-
But it's actually aligned. We have a strategic priority to make our community cleaner and greener, and we would do that.
Have you seen the greener?
Make it red over there.
We need to
As
move on.
Newton Leeds come under 2 parishes, what about Stoke Hammond? Do they keep a fair amount in their area? Or are we getting?
No, you can't. I don't think
The
that.
path goes to Newton Longville.
Chair, can I propose that? Can I propose that we use our existing stock?
Yeah,
Of
5.
our existing stock that we've got in stock to replenish
Yeah.
Newton Lees and Eton Lees in respect of the amount of dog bins that need done. Can we go on?
Can I?
Talk.
I think if you want to increase the number, then you need to increase the budget. Because
Yeah.
the budget basically is what we're paying currently in terms of the emptying.
Yeah.
And if we're going to use stock that we've got for replenishment of broken bins, we probably want something in the budget for additional bins purchasing.
Do we need change spares?
Which, you know,
Get more.
How often?
Yeah.
How often do you have to change? How often
fairly frequently, yeah,
do they get damaged?
they get damaged.
Ethan,
But this is the report that we want
I
to
was going to
hear.
say, if we have 7 that are used, 5 in Newton Lees, 2 in Eton Lees, and they are emptied every week at £4 a throw, it's £1,456. So
It's £6 an empty.
oh, is it £6?
Yeah.
Oh.
The ones in Newton Lees are empty twice a week as well.
Because that's because
Because yeah, granted.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
okay, so we've got a proposal, we?
Sorry, 2,184, Chair.
So you want to increase.
Budget by 2,184
It-
or 2,500, wasn't it?
Can I propose we purchase an additional 7 dog bins and increase the emptying budget by the relevant amount?
So then you have your stock at 10 remaining
Yeah,
for
perfect.
replacements.
Is that okay?
Are you accepting the amendment?
I don't mind the amendment as long as it covers everything.
Okay, can we get the numbers to Keith? Well, they'll go into
I'll get
the numbers will go in and they'll go. Can we, so we're going to run out of time, so we need to start moving to exceptions. I think they're the contentious ones. In terms of, we'll talk about the Christmas lights later on. Do you want to do that now while we're here?
Yeah, crack on.
Because otherwise that's going to determine the budget. Also, the football pitches as well. I think there's two.
Confidential, mate. At the end.
Hold on, yeah, sorry.
So you're happy with the budget as it is, everything else?
Yeah.
Do you want to say, Mary?
Could you do?
So each year we do warm spaces, which Councillor Weimer takes control of or puts on. And this year we had the household support fund. So do you want to put something in the budget for next year for warm spaces, the warm space programme?
Yeah.
We've done it the last 2 years. So
I think it's important
Over to
that
you.
we keep up with warm spaces for the people that are most vulnerable.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it's great value.
They might have to do it for a good few more years yet until the prices will do go
Until,
up.
until global warming warms up.
So this year we had 5k well, £5,000 that it cost to do, 4k was from the support fund, and then we put the town council.
So
a bit more.
can I ask a question? The demand, is it going up? So are you gonna need an uplift as well?
Well,
Is
it
it-
depends if we're going to have an increase.
But this is what I'm saying.
I think I can do it with a 5k budget.
That's what I'm asking. This is the whole thing about community grants. Is you've got to ask these questions. Do you believe that we're going to need an uplift?
I mean, you can't predict what's going to
You
happen.
can't predict what's gonna
Well,
happen,
that's a
yeah.
problem.
But what you can do is supply a service up to that budget.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm asking.
We've got to run along.
Sorry, there's a second site in Fenny Stratford now with Q Alliance. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Does so is that all one budget, or actually are we accounting for the separate? So do we need to have a budget for Q Alliance as well
Who are they?
in the budget?
That was a very small budget, was it?
700.
700 quid.
I mean, yeah, not a lot. Is it?
But does it go into the budget for next year?
It'd have to be on top.
So
Can I just ask a question, Mary? Do you ever have anybody come in and ask if you do vouchers for electric and stuff?
No, but I can refer it.
Huh?
I can refer it.
Oh, okay, that's good then.
Okay,
I propose that we add 1,000 for the other
Yeah.
site.
yeah,
So 5, what's the?
5 plus 1, 6,000, so it's.
To be accounted for separately.
And 1,000 for Q Lines, which is in Fenny
I
Stratford.
think what we're saying, warm spaces, lakes and warm spaces, Fenny
Yeah.
Stratford,
One.
5,000 for
Yeah.
lake, 1,000 for Fenny Stratford.
Well, you want to put this in your budget?
A warm space, yeah, that's what they're suggesting.
I don't know what heading.
Warm spaces, it's not in the.
No, it's not in there, is it?
So it'll have to be in addition to.
That's what I'm saying. Where would you like to keep it?
No, they can access.
It'll go under.
Community engagement?
Wellbeing.
Youth and wellbeing.
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 Okay, should we move on?
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you want to carry on and talk about the football pitches, because that influences our budget, doesn't it, as well?
Football pitches needs to be
At the end for confidential mode.
confidential.
Right, and same with the Christmas lights as well, yeah?
No, just that.
About that now.
Right, so we talk, just go back then, we propose the 5,000 for the wall spaces for the Lakes Estate and 1,000 for Fenny Stratford. All those in favour, those against? It's through.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
I
I shall do.
No one
No
can.
problem, so I get that. Right, so we go on to the pack, it's item 13, it's the, consider the Christmas illuminations in preparation for the tender for a new contract earlier in the new year. So Will, over to you.
Okay, so currently in the fourth year of the current scheme, it was a 3-year contract that we extended for a year because we were not certain of exactly what was going to happen with the works on Queensway. So it got extended for a year, but in preparation for Christmas next year, 2026, we'll need to put together a specification and go out to tender again. In order to do that, I need some instruction from this committee with regards to the budget that you'd like to put forward for that, and to consider the scheme, the theme, the style that you'd like to see next time around.
Okay, so we're looking at a 25% increase. This is for the installation of remote operated timers because of the infrastructure is so poor. So we don't rely on the ancient MK CC infrastructure. I've got a quick question. Is this open to multiple suppliers?
It will be, yeah, we'll go out to tender. So we'll go out officially to tender with a specification of works, and then we'll choose from those that tender.
So you're looking at an uplift 25%, which is 25.2 this year, to 35 grand next year.
Yeah, I mean, that's partly the timer situation that you mentioned, but it's also the previous contract was procured back in 2022. So, you know, a lot's changed in that time. It's been 4 years since we procured.
Chair, is there any way we can see, because we've had the same illuminations year in, year out. The lamppost is not fit for purpose in respect to the infrastructure. That's what we're going to do. Is it the battery operated or the timer?
The timers.
The timers. Can we see sort of like 2 or 3 different?
We'll do that.
Different
part of the tender
setup.
And the specification, yeah.
I think we've been doing this for 3 years now, and they were great when they first.
Yeah, right, but, you know, I mean, I'm not saying, you know.
I think in order to go out to tender, we need to have an idea of what money's available, and we need to set, you know, we need to set a specification of what we want it to look like. You know, do we want it to be?
What it's going to look like.
Do we want it to be?
Say yes or no.
What's that? Sorry.
We need to see what it's going to look like before we say yes or no. We can't just go, oh, put whatever up. We need to have
Then you make it people that say, right, £100,000 or, you know what I mean? There needs to be a specification.
Yeah.
We need to say if we want it to be family friendly, do we want it to be classy, you know?
Yeah, I'd like to see designs.
We're not Blackpool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, exactly.
I think what we're asking is for something similar to what we have now, but with but we want the lights to be refreshed and so that they look different.
That's it.
That I think that's it. I don't think that we are wanting to massively increase the budget, you know, or increase. I mean, it would be delightful if you know, there were lights on the Lake Estate and there were lights on Newton Lees and there were lights in other places. Can't do it. So I think we just have to cut our cloth to what we've got.
Yeah. I just want to see some different variations of what. Yeah.
Are they changing the lampposts in Queensway as well when they're doing the
No.
refurb? Are they keeping them the same? Okay, I thought they might do.
Okay, so I propose that we stick with the budget that Will has recommended. All those in favour? So 35k.
Yeah.
For
But we'd like to see some
January,
different
we'll start looking at specification
Yes.
and readiness for next year.
So we.
So the overall budget stays at 39,054.
35.
35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
35. Yeah, but the whole Christmas lights overhead expenditure stays at 39.
Yeah.
05. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. I'll vote for number 7, guys.
So Chair, are we going to get in the new year some different options?
Yes,
For
we'll
lighting?
get a spec. Absolutely will, yeah. We did it last time, it was quite a good, it's a good process actually, isn't it, Marie?
Is that okay? Well,
It is, yeah.
Right.
you're looking that direction.
It's just difficult, yeah.
Why?
You need to give them an idea of you know.
Surely,
Yeah, fine.
We can show them bits of what
Colourful,
we have.
surely lighting companies that supply.
They must have
lights
their
have
own
got different-
brochure, surely. We
Yeah.
can ask them for 3 different
I did
options
write
then,
number
maybe.
7,
Yeah.
options to receive a financial management report showing expenditure against budget for the year to date on community and environmental. So Any exceptions, please, can you raise and go through. Page 42. 43. 44. We'll take that as read.
Excellent.
Number 9, so consider the, number 8, so this is the proposal for the base, let me go back to the beginning.
Where are we? Wait,
My. There we go, right, okay. So this is 8.1, so the proposed base station upgrade at Drayton Knowles, SW Land, Drayton Road. So, okay, I've got some notes on here. This is around the. Yeah. That's notes from some. It's about these. Okay, yes, okay, so first was the proposed base station. Second was the land between Stratford Drive and Drayton Road, construction of a micro energy storage facility, and the third one is the same piece, isn't it? This is a battery box. It's an ESS. So what it does, it imports electricity from the local network when demand is low, and also takes in renewable energy when it's available. So it exports electric back into the grid when required during periods of high demand. So it's very green. It's very clean as well. So AMP Energy develops up to 1,250 of these battery boxes over the next 3 years. I've had a quick look around to see if there's any risks around them. If there's been any incidents. There's been one incident so far, but the risk is very, very low. So I've looked at the planning notes as well. There's no comments. So in terms of any opposition, there's nothing in terms of what. They are small units, quite discreet. They're not an eyesore. So I recommend that we no comment these.
second.
For those. Right, thank you. Thank you. Item number 9. Go ahead. So we're looking at grants policy now, so to consider and approve the recommendation for the amendments for the community grants policy for also. John, here's a quick.
Yes, Kate, do you want to just quickly run down this change here, the amendment for the grant policy?
So during previous, I didn't know. Okay, so noted in the minutes in the Finance and Government on the 21st of October, it brought the attention of the committee the 8-week time period between the community and borough committee meetings and the need to approve small grants. We need to do that a lot quickly, a lot faster. So it was resolved to delegate the approval of small grants of £200 or less to the clerk and responsible finance officer, following consultation with the community and borough committee.
Okay. So, yeah, so recommendations to support the change in policy. It's a really good idea. Grants should be subject to the officers. Any comments? I propose we accept the change in the policy.
Second.
All those in favour? Thank you very much. Next one is to approve a grant application for the Leon Residents Association for the sum of £200.
Again, this one's already been to members, so it's just to this committee to have sight of it, and if you're happy with it already, but it has been approved over email.
So Sue, we all know Sue's works in hobbycraft, so it's got £200 for the venue space, the arts and crafts and profession. Again, it sits nicely with our objectives in terms of our community, so I think we've approved it already, so it's a note for that one. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Next one. So Sabina, sorry you've been waiting for so long. I don't normally take this long, but quite some meaty items tonight. So I'm going to give some report on the events programme. We've had a events working group, so a lot of people should be up to speed with what's going on. So this is item number 11, and it starts on page 57 of your back. What are you doing? Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So it's going to be a... Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hear you. Thank you.
Excellent. Fabulous. That's always a good start. Good evening, everyone. So it's going to be super whistle stop. So just shout at me if you've got any questions, I suppose. Christmas is this Saturday. Boy, that's come around quickly. So 12 till 4, Newton Lees Pavilion. We are essentially ready to go. So you can see on the report the kind of the running total of the spend. We're not expecting, I think there's a few Amazon bits that still need to be added, but apart from that, there's no, all the big bits and pieces are on there. So that's kind of where we are with the budget. Activities, fairground rides, crafts, Santa, DJ. We've got a lot more walkabout performers than we normally have at Christmas, which is really exciting. Having the indoor outdoor space has kind of helped that as well. We've got the candy cane stilt walkers look amazing as well. If you've not seen it on social media or in the pack, then definitely come down and see them in person on Saturday. We've got a performance area with some local choirs, particularly the Premier Academy kids are back with us this year as well, which is always great when they're with us. The gaming bus, the soft play bus, a couple of face painting, and we have earmarked parkour, which is always really popular at any events that they come to, but obviously we're making a decision the day before around weather and safety, etc. So they're lined up to join us and they're very happy to join us, but obviously we need to make sure it's not torrential rain and people aren't going to fall and hurt themselves. With it being in Newton Lees Pavilion, we've got reduced trading space, and it will be interesting to see how that goes, really, because obviously a lot of our events are not huge shopping events, but it is good obviously to have a street food element and a kind of independent market element to it as well. I think that, you know, that's always wanted, but the scale of it will be interesting to see how it does. So we've got a range of hot food from Japanese street food, we've got curries, we've got grilled Jamaican, we've got hot dogs and venison burgers. Oh, and we've got Terry, you'll like this, we've got the coffee van from the Blue Lagoon will be joining us as well, which is really great because they're super local and they're teachers and they do the coffee van in their spare time, but they're obviously fully like trained and accredited and stuff, so it's great to have them join us as well. And obviously we've got some sweet treat bits. In regards to market, we've got a good variety of things. So we've got toys, we've got lucky dip, we've got sweets, we've got plants, Christmas decor, a really exciting Italian deli, cakes and a few other bits and pieces. So it's nice and varied with the traders that we have. We've, you know, obviously taken into consideration kind of price points and things like we normally do as well. There are some differences to what we normally have on Queensway because it is a slightly different area. So it's more about kind of understanding the different communities and trying to make sure that we match what people might need. Parking has been because we're using the whole of the car park for Newton Lees for event space. That's obviously been one of the questions that's been asked quite a lot when we're doing advertising and kind of by the residents and stuff. So we've done some social media and marketing around how to get to Newton Lees Pavilion, not using your car. And then obviously, you know, we've told people to be mindful of residents and being aware that they're in an area where there's driveways and people walking and stuff like that. So we've done all we can in regards to that. And so I'm really hoping that people take advantage of the redways and the public transport and kind of, you know, walking down or cycling from Queensway is 12 minutes. So it might feel like it's out of town, but it's not actually that far. So we should be okay. So you're all coming to Christmas, aren't you? Which would be great. Any questions on that before I move on?
Sorry, I do have one.
Yes, you have a table, Marie. Yes, you do.
No, not about that. I can't see where it is in the budget, but I just wondered how many Christmas gifts you had.
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's the same number as last year, plus some dairy-free options as well.
We have a rough estimate.
Did we have 200 last year?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
And how many children have we got in the choirs?
There's, well, we have to obviously be mindful that Santa can only see people every 3 to 5 minutes. So we're looking at roughly 12 families per hour. And so we've kind of worked it out with that. And there's 30 kids earmarked to come for the choir.
And the last question was, this, all the cones outside as you come in, has that all been?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
That's
okay.
about
No
you.
worries.
Yeah, Rachel's done a fabulous job of liaising with the teams that are working there and Taylor Wimpey and stuff, and she spoke to them today and she's speaking to them on Friday as well, and she's even been out across to see them and stuff and just explain the situation and stuff. So Rachel's been an absolute star in supporting us on the site and managing the football as well to make sure that we've not got a clash with the kind of matches and stuff that weekend.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Davina, considering that we're using all the car park.
Yep.
And Christmas is, you don't know what the weather's going to be like, and you don't know whether people are going to be using public transport, riding their bikes to get to this location. What's going to be the contingency plan, and if there is a contingency plan for people actually driving to the event? Because
well, I mean,
we can't guarantee that people are going to walk or ride.
No, not so.
So what my question is what's the contingency plan if lots of cars turn up to park, and what's the contingency plan for parking?
Well, I mean, so we obviously don't have any to provide in that area. What we have got is we've got banksmen from the security team to make sure they're along the roadside to help manage any traffic build up or congestion or inconsiderate parking, etc., that might happen near the venue. Obviously there's the Asda car park nearby that doesn't appear to have any signage on, so we aren't unfortunately able to provide any parking for this event, but it is something that we have talked about right from the very beginning. It is on all of the posters everywhere. It's an unfortunate side effect of the location that we've had to use at this point.
Let's move on to the next event, Davina. We've run out of time.
Yeah, thank you. So Lunar New Year, very exciting to be finally bringing this to life in this financial year in 2026. So it's the 7th of February, which is a Saturday. Proposed to be at Newton, or not, it's booked to be at Newton Lees Pavilion. We've done all the relevant things around football matches, etc. We are not going to be taking over the majority of the car park. It's going to be like 90% available because of the weather, really, and obviously it's the first event, so we want to keep it to a relatively considerate size. There is a pack that you will have seen, hopefully, with some budgets and pricing and stuff that we went through on the events working group as well. What's really exciting is over the last week, I've actually managed to secure more performances, including a dragon that was asked for and a couple more stilt walkers and some dancers for about £1,000 less than what was projected in the original pack, through directly through the performer rather than through an agency. So I can go through that in detail, at the next working group, but really, really exciting to be able to do that. So we're going to go in Newton Lees Pavilion. We'll have the same indoor space for traders, and we'll do some hot food, and then we'll be offering things like calligraphy and culturally relevant activities, face painting and like I said, the stilt walkers and the dragon dancers and stuff.
Involved in this, isn't he?
Sorry.
Councillor Coe's been involved in this as well, isn't he?
He has supported, in the kind of creation of this event. So kind of culturally, we know that we're at this point, given the size of it and the location, that we're doing what we can to kind of make this a meaningful event rather than just putting something on and naming it Lunar, which is obviously why we've kind of postponed it to this point. So that's coming together really well, and you will have obviously seen the detail in the pack as well. Moving on to Iftar, one of my favourites. So community Iftar. Just to note, the Lunar New Year event is the 7th of February. Lunar New Year itself is the 19th of February. So we're not taking up people's weekends and stuff. So we should see decent footfall for that, considering it's one of the only Lunar New Year events in this area as well, across Milton Keynes and stuff, that's especially one that's run by a local council. Community iftar, 20th of February, so Friday evening like we normally do. Obviously timings here or there depending on sunset, etc., as we normally do. 250 ticketed guests, so the same number of guests as last year. Looking to use the same venue as last year because around suitability and stuff, we've done all the usual. We've done another kind of check of local area and different venues, etc., to make sure that it's still the right one. Done the quoting. We're still waiting on a couple of catering quotes so that we can put it to the committee for you to pick the most suitable catering for this year. Yeah, and then photography and decor. Last year, or the culmination of the last couple of years of this event, I feel like this will be our third one, and we're able to now pick the best bits from year 1 and year 2, and just have the event grow. And it's already really well received and has a positive impact to the rest of our events as well. We've seen a significant increase in diversity and engagement across the other events with this one, and I'm hoping Luna will have a similar sort of impact as well.
Super.
It's going to be 2 years.
Thank you very much, Davina. Any questions, members? We've got a working group, so anything we do talk.
Davina, does the 250 guests include VIPs and
Yes.
things like that? And is that going to be restricted to Bletchley and Fenny Stratford town councillors, or are we having all of the Labour, not the Labour Party? Are we having ward councillors turn up and people like that?
Don't get me
I mean,
started,
we just don't
Richard,
want to have.
No,
We just don't want to have our events taken over by Milton Keynes Council. This is
I mean that's
Bletchley and Stratford Town Council. We're putting it on. We don't want it hijacked by Milton Keynes Council.
I mean that's a decision for the councillors and the committee. Essentially, we have ring fenced, or will be ring fencing, about 35 to 40 if that's appropriate and agreed by you guys.
Is that spaces for dignitaries?
Yeah, and not just dignitaries, but like relevant community groups, etc. If there's anybody who we want to meaningfully thank, etc., then there's essentially 40, let's say, non-public tickets is the thought, and then the rest will go out to.
In time, we can talk about this.
Yes, yeah, we can get the detail down.
Thank you very much, Davina. We look forward to see you Saturday. There's a lot of work to do Friday and Saturday, so.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Do you mind if we move on to the last agenda item, which is the football pitches tender in confidential mode? And then we'll go back to, after that, Will's your report. I just think it'd be a wider discussion when you talk about football pitch contract. Is that okay? Yeah. So, say goodbye to the audience.
Davina.
Thanks, Davina.
And
Is there any people?
So we'll go in.